Good afternoon. Thank you for calling Lodha Group. We are speaking with Chipin. How may I help you?
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon. My uncle will talk to you about our case.
Yes.
Hi, Kshitij. You are familiar with
Yes.
the case? Do you have the case details before you on your computer?
So I have the case details with me.
Okay. So I want
see
to
that,
understand.
yes, there is.
Yeah. So here's Prathamesh Karale. He is 18 years old, and he has a younger brother, and his mother is a very simple person. Okay. Now his dad died of COVID. Okay. It's a force majeure. As much as it is for you, it is for others also. It's a force majeure. He died. Now he has paid about 15 lakhs. At first you said you didn't want to refund. You said that you will have to continue with it and so on. But upon correspondence, at one point in July, you sent him a voluntary cancellation format, a PDF file, wherein everything was fine except there was a slight mismatch of figures. You were saying 14 point something lakhs. He corrected it to 15 point something lakhs, sent it back to you. Whereupon now again you seem to have reverted into your old stand, because whatever papers you have later on sent says name change request and so on, and basically these are the papers. If he signs it, if he, his mom and his brother, if they sign it, then it appears as if they are to go forward with the agreement, not cancel. They signed and sent you the voluntary cancellation request with some corrections. Corrections of figure mainly. Okay.
Figure, yeah. The payment what you have done. So
correct.
Basically in the voluntary cancellation you are saying that it was somewhere about 14 lakhs, but then you did the correction and you made it to 15 lakhs.
15 lakhs, something like that.
The payment that was done by you.
Correct. So now you have suddenly received this email. It goes back to the previous position where you had said they have to continue. If he doesn't continue, if they don't continue, their uncles should continue payment and so on and so forth. The document sent by you suggests this. Now, can you just clarify whether the voluntary cancellation is going on, and if so, why does he need to sign these other name change request documents? The name change request documents say you please transfer the thing to our name and we will continue with basically take over my father's contractual obligations and so on under the agreement. This is the tone of the whole name change request thing. So can you just clarify this, please?
I will certainly clarify this information for you, sir. And I'm very sorry to hear about your loss, sir. Let me just quickly resolve this issue first. Let me have a word with the concerned team here, sir. Can I please call on hold for 2 minutes?
Yeah. So all these paperwork points in the wrong direction. After you had sent us paperwork which is pointing in the right direction, then suddenly all the paperwork pointing in the wrong direction, that's very confusing.
I'll get a confirmation on that, sir.
Please.
Just give me 2 minutes of time at least.
Should we hold?
To speak to one of our teams. Okay, sir?
Okay. Should we hold?
Yes, sir. Please hold the line while I just get connected to one of my teams. Okay, sir?
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you for waiting on the line, sir. And I'm really sorry to keep you waiting for such a long time, sir. Are you there?
No issues. Yeah.
So, sir, I was confirming with Utkarsha. Okay, sir. So, basically, she's from the concerned department where she has shared the form with you, right, sir?
Yes, Utkarsha Tambe sent this.
So,
yes.
Correct, sir. So, the reason that she has shared this form is because ideally for the cancellation, sir, in order for us to go ahead with the cancellation, we have to first do a name change on the account, sir. Okay? That is the reason this form and this draft have been shared with you. Okay? So what you have to do is, I think Utkarsha must have conveyed this message to you that you have to, you have to fill in the form and you have to share us the hard copy of it on our at our Mahalakshmi's address, sir. That is at our head office. The address and in the email, sir.
Sure. Okay. Here's what worries me. When the legal paperwork contains words which don't seem to match up with the objectives. Okay.
But sir, I have confirmed this information. So
all I'm saying is, see, your name change part is okay. But when you are saying things like we will review, I shall perform all the obligations and pay all the charges payable under the application form, allotment letter, agreement for sale, these kind of wordings give you a feeling that they are not taking you towards cancellation. I mean, from your side, the argument is no, this is all necessary. This is how we do our legal paperwork. But the paperwork does not reflect the intent. The paperwork goes in a different direction. If this paperwork is sent, if you are able to say something like, okay, and I understand that post this, you will, refund my amount. Can there be one paragraph showing Lodha's intent to refund the amount and cancel the agreement in these documents?
I've got your point, sir. I've got your point clearly. Let me just reiterate what you have just said, sir. So basically, you're saying that the content some of the content in that letter that you have received, you think that it might not go for the cancellation.
Correct.
You might have to continue with the registration which is already there.
Yes.
But sir, I have confirmed this information with my leaders, and with the concerned department who has shared this form with you. In order for us to go ahead with the cancellation, the name change process has to be done first. Okay.
No. Let us do the name change. Understood. See, there is one line. I hereby request you to transfer the said unit in my name and share certificate to be issued in respect of the said unit in our favor, and when the cooperative housing society or any other ultimate organization may be formed. Now, what does this suggest? This suggests that we are going to be part of that cooperative housing society and any other ultimate organization that may be formed. So this does not indicate exiting. Okay, you are not giving, this suggests that you are not giving us an exit. Whereas earlier correspondence has been very clear, so that when that voluntary cancellation form came, we said, okay, this is fantastic, this is in the right direction. But then when this comes, we suddenly say, wait, what's going on here? So can you put it all together in the voluntary cancellation form? Could itself consist of any transfer of name or any such request? All you need is a subheading. Voluntary cancellation form and a subheading.
Yes, but then ideally a voluntary cancellation form will not have that information, sir. Name change process is a different process compared to the voluntary cancellation, sir. I have come across cases, to be honest with you.
It's a very fishy.
The same scenario has happened, sir, and the name change process was done first, and then the cancellation. The cancellation process has taken place, sir.
Okay,
I have come across cases like this, sir.
And by the way, why are uncles involved in this? And Yash, why are they being involved? See, what happens is a unitary family, it has its own borders and boundaries. Now, when you involve uncles, it can go off on a tangent. You don't want that happening because money is involved. Mrs. Reema Karale was the co-applicant. Now, you know why that is so, of course. In India, when we buy a flat, we always make our wives the co-applicant because security.
Exactly, sir. Yes.
You want to make her secure.
Yes, sir.
So, totally fine.
Yes, sir.
Where is the question of name change when she's already a co-applicant? She's already there. Okay, she's already there as co-applicant. So, you don't need another entity to step into Mr. Eknath Karale's shoes. You don't need another person to step into his shoes. Reema Eknath Karale, his wife, now his widow, is already there. Now, why does all this name change and indemnity involving uncles? Something doesn't feel right, na? You think about it. When they booked the flat, you did not ask the uncles.
Okay. No,
uncles are different here. Uncles are each and every uncle is a different entity.
I'm not really sure from Lodha has contacted anybody of their family relatives on that particular number. I'm not really sure about that.
Let us assume it is the other way around. Let us assume it's the other way around. Let us assume for a moment that Mr. Dile and Ms. Yash. Let us assume for a moment they contacted Lodha. Lodha would simply say, you have no locus standi in this matter. You have no locus. Because their direct next of kin, his widow and his two sons, are there in touch with us. That's it. Now, brothers and uncles and whatnot, how can they be entertained? First of all, why would you be entertaining them, assuming that they are contacted? I don't believe they contacted. Okay.
I'm not really sure which department had a conversation with.
So can we have this? See, just a sec. Say, Kshitij, if legal is the one handling this, I believe legal should be the people handling this request.
Yes.
Right? Then in that case, can we please have a person from legal who can give us who can address it as a legal person? Because legal paperwork, there is a disjoint. There's a disjoint, and the disjoint is very troubling. The fear is that the disjoint later on will work to the disadvantage of Prathamesh and his family. So we don't want the disjoint. Whatever is there should reflect the reality.
Sir, let me just tell you one more thing clear, sir, here. If we really wanted you to go ahead with the registration, then, sir, we would have made this thing very clear from day one, sir. Because we never, so this is try to basically, not to give the right information to the customer. I don't think so, sir, that we have done this thing from day one.
No,
from day one, we have been acknowledging the fact.
Perfect. See, I'm really, first of all, let me tell you this. I'm really happy and really grateful that you guys consented to refund his money. Okay? Really grateful. Now warms my heart. However,
yes, sir.
Afterwards, there are various things in various directions. For example, when we are holding, as soon as we call, there is a voice which comes on and tells you your dues and all that. And the dues currently it is saying is 20 lakh rupees with interest and all that blah blah. Okay? Yes. With penal interest and all that. So, so there are different voices that are coming at us from the same entity, Lodha.
Okay.
Now, what we should have is one single clear voice, not a bunch of voices and we keep distinguishing which one is true and which one is not true, right? So even in writing, what happens is the ambiguity is very troubling. See, when you are writing a letter, if the letter and the attachment have the same tone and texture and tenor, then we are not troubled by it. We feel comforted. We say, okay, this is going in the right direction. But suddenly when you see, oh, you should also sign this, and then this, whatever you are asked to sign, seems to be at odds. Okay, and then when we say, okay, why the uncle, then there is no reply. So the person who's put the uncle's names is not on phone to reply and justify. Shouldn't he, whoever has drafted this letter, justify, and shouldn't we be engaging with that person who has drafted the letter, who is presumably from legal? Shouldn't we be engaging with him? So wouldn't it be possible for you to take him on call, let us have a conversation with him and say, listen bro, why have you put these people's names? Why is their name in indemnity?
So we'll take it. We'll highlight this to your legal team. But sir, I think that the Utkarsha must have contacted you in regards to this case also, right, sir?
Say again,
Utkarsha called you from the legal. She's on the legal team, sir.
Utkarsha is from legal. I don't think. Prathamesh, did you have a conversation with Utkarsha?
Yes, but she didn't clarify anything. She just said they are legal hires. We need it. It's legal process. And my head ma'am told this.
See, Kshitij, he is not very articulate. You must understand that we are talking to an 18-year-old boy here, right? He is not yet in college, or just about in college. Is that right, Prathamesh?
Yes.
So the situation is that he doesn't understand these fine points. Let us have Utkarsha have a conversation with us. Let's have her online if you can. So what happens is we understand why they and why on what basis they are being put into this indemnity. Because I don't believe Mr. Eknath Karale has mentioned them in any capacity in the beginning. So how do they suddenly land up? It's a bit scary, because you start needing the signatures of uncles. Why do you need the signature of uncles? Because if you go to an uncle for a signature, well, it's a family. You know how things work out in families. Extended family may not necessarily cooperate.
I acknowledge everything.
So it gets scary, it gets scarier and scarier. If the Utkarsha can discuss with us, that will be fantastic.
I think, sir, Utkarsha has already...
Can you please put her online? Because I believe Prathamesh may have had a conversation, but very clearly he was not able to articulate the questions.
But sir, Utkarsha, I can see that when Utkarsha has sent you an email,
Yes,
Utkarsha has also shared the number. 8097537487.
Okay, so we should reach out to her
if you have
directly.
any queries. Yes, sir.
We should
So
reach out to her
reach
directly.
out to her directly because sir, because see your opinions and your thoughts regarding the thing that has been sent to you, because there's a second thought in your mind that if we are sharing this letter, then in future if we tell you that you may have to continue with the registration, but I really don't think so, Mr. Karale, that this is the situation here. If this would have been the situation, then we would have told you from day one, sir. But I don't think so, sir. This is the case here. What we are doing is, in order for us to go ahead with the cancellation, the name change process has to be done.
But it has to be reasonable, no? It has to be reasonable, no? Indemnity, why is it coming from the uncles who are in no way stakeholders in his family, who are not directly next of kin, whom you would never entertain otherwise? Why is it there? So let's have a conversation with Utkarsha.
If that's the case, then we don't need their indemnity also if they are not even added on the account.
You don't.
Then we don't even need their indemnity, or we only need indemnity, I think, from her mother, that is Reema Eknath Karale.
Absolutely.
Because she's the co-applicant on the account.
Perfect. Absolutely correct. Let's simplify. The more heads there are in this thing, in the transaction, the more complicated it will become. So why are we complicating it?
I understand that.
Let's simplify. So we'll have a conversation with Utkarsha.
Utkarsha has already shared. Number was already there in the
Okay, I didn't notice. I didn't notice.
It is okay, sir. You must have missed it. It is all right, sir.
Right.
But then I can assure you that, sir, the conversation that I had with my leaders in regards to this case, they have told me that the name change process has to be done first, and once that is done, we will then go ahead with the cancellation.
But where is the name change? She is already co-applicant. She is in the agreement as co-applicant. Where is name change? See, she is already there on board. She is already there on board as co-applicant. So we are now heading for a cancellation of agreement where we will file a cancellation deed, correct? And then she can even get a refund of her stamp duty and registration. Correct?
If the stamp duty was paid. Okay, sir.
Yeah, stamp duty was paid. It is a registered agreement, and your
yes, sir.
The format you sent also said.
Yeah, it was 50% paid. Yes. Sir.
Correct. Right. Okay. So then we can head for that process. Just needs to be Reema Karale. It need not even be Prathamesh and his brother. Could be just Reema Karale's correspondence. That's all we need.
It could be like that, sir.
Could be like that.
As per the update that we have received from our internal team, sir, I'm going to reiterate the same thing to you, sir. In order for us to go ahead with the cancellation, sir, we would first require the name change process that needs to be done. And
name change.
Done,
so I'll
definitely go ahead with the cancellation, sir.
Right.
I can see that the amount that you have paid so far is somewhere about 14,65,881, sir.
Not 15 lakh something.
25% you have paid.
Okay, so it's not the 15 because Prathamesh sent, I think, receipts also.
It is okay, sir.
I believe. Anyway, we will figure it out. So fine, we will have a conversation with Karsha.
Yeah, definitely around the corner, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, for now, I'm keeping this case open. You can have a word for now, and you can just and probably one of my team members will get back to you on this, Rosalind. Okay?
Perfect.
She will get back to you. She's on leave, sir.
Perfect.
So we'll get back to you. Okay.
Thanks so much. Yes. Thank you so much, Hitesh.
Thank you so much for your time. So take care.
Bye-bye. या
हाँ ये नंबर है मेरे पास. एक मिनिट.
तुम्ही ज्या व्यक्तीशी बोलत आहात त्याने तुमच्या कॉलला होल्डवर ठेवला आहे. कृपया लूच रहा. The person you are speaking with has put your call on hold.
हेलो. बोलिए. आपका देखिए कंसेप्ट बार मुझे बता सकते हैं आप रिलेटेड, क्योंकि मुझे जहाँ तक आपके डॉक्यूमेंट्स मिले हैं, ठीक है, वहाँ पे तो नेम डिलीशन का मुझे ऑलरेडी वोल्कैन के लिए रिलेटेड सीसी टीम से मेल तो आया है कि आपका यूनिट कैंसिलेशन है और डीओसी और रिफंड के लिए.
करेक्ट.
एक बार आपका कंसर्न बता दीजिए सो आई कैन हेल्प यू.
ओके, श्योर. बाय द वे, आर यू फ्रॉम लीगल और फ्रॉम सीआरएम?
No, I am Utkarsha.
Utkarsha. Okay. You're Utkarsha, sorry.
Basically, I have checked your mail. So it clearly says that the unit is cancelled. It's getting cancelled and you will get the refund.
Okay, I'll tell you the concern. Concern is like this. See, earlier, you sent a cancellation form, voluntary cancellation form.
Right.
In the voluntary cancellation form, there were some issues, including one issue about the amount. Your amount was 14,65,881. Prathamesh has receipts for 15 lakh plus. That is one reason. The other reason is you are saying we have ceased to have any right, title or interest in respect of etc. etc. and you are free to dispose of the said residential flat. Now the correct thing is they will cease to have any right, title or interest when that agreement which has been signed, agreement of sale, will be cancelled and you will have to register a deed of cancellation, correct, at the registrar of stamp duty. And when that is done, then Prathamesh will be able to get back the amount from stamp duty registrar also. Registration amount and the thing is also refunded with some small cut. So this procedure can be completed after the cancellation deed, and only upon cancellation deed and refund, then their right is extinguished. Right, title, interest, etc., etc., all that is extinguished. So there are a few things that are inaccurate. Okay. I further confirm I have no claim of any nature. I hereby waive, no, is wrong. I hereby waive my rights is wrong. I waive my rights upon cancellation. When the cancellation happens, when the amount is refunded, then of course all the rights are extinguished. It's not waiving, it's an extinguishing of rights. So there are a few things, we made some corrections, we sent you back. Now there was no response on that. Cancellation request letter, post registration, which was sent by you, was basically signed and sent back to you with some corrections. Now there was no response, no adequate response on that. It was not like this is okay, this is not okay, this amount is okay, this amount is not okay. There was no response on that. What instead got sent is another email where you are saying name change request. Now question arises, name change request. Why name change? If the mother is already there. Mother is already there in the agreement.
Right.
This correspondence can be done from mother, who is the co-applicant. Reema Karale can just do it as co-applicant, and she is the co-applicant. She has all the authority to do this cancellation thing.
Right.
In spite of that, you are saying no, name change. How name change arises? Where is the question of name change? That is one thing. Then second thing, see, legal heirs and all those things. Again, since she is co-applicant, there is no question of legal heir and this and that and certify and all that kind of thing.
Regarding the question before question, for that I can answer you. Regarding Reema, as you stated that she was a co-applicant, right?
Correct.
And so you can where the question arises for the name change. For the deed of cancellation, because the first person is a disease case in this case.
So death certificate will be furnished.
Right.
There is no name change. No, there is death certificate is furnished.
Right. But for our process, we have, if you want to do DOC, that is deed of cancellation, first we have to go through name change, because the person who is already diseased in this case will not come here, for the same time. So we have to transfer all this unit under the name of Reema Karale.
All right, fine. All right. Then Reema Karale accepted. Okay, I understand. I accept. I'll accept.
And hereby legal hire as per Indian law. He has a policy. You can go on.
Now, when there is co-applicant, madam, where is the question? There is already a co-applicant, Reema Eknath Karale. Okay. Then where do you have to go to whether these people are legal heirs or not? That is a big question. But chalo, usko bhi pass kar lete hain. Chalo, accept it. I will accept even that, legal heir. Now, where is the question of involving Mr. Karale, who is an uncle, and who is an auntie?
Yes, I will surely answer on this. As per law, as Eknath Karale, legal hire is followed by his brother, right? As they are having a blood relation to them, so we required a legal hire of the deceased person.
So legal heir is not Karale, no? Under Hindu succession law, just a second. Let us go by succession law.
That's the reason, if you will check my emails, I have clearly mentioned what are the details I required and what are the First email I have sent to Prathamesh. Okay, what are the documents I require regarding the PAN card, the co-applicant, applicant, the death certificate, and if there is any legal hires, so I require their PAN card. So he had given me his details. That's the reason I have mentioned his name over there.
Okay. So at which point of time did he give you Karale and as legal heir? Did you do that, Prathamesh?
No. They forcefully asked me. I also asked question why they need, but they said it's legal, so we need.
How is it?
So that's the reason. See, legal, I understand. They need a blood relation, right? That's the reason I have clearly mentioned on the mail. I required parents, spouse, all children or siblings.
Yes.
Identification, that is name, address.
Utkarsha, first of all, you are saying you would have drafted this, correct? Because I want someone to take ownership of the draft. Are you like the person who is responsible for the drafting? Then I can discuss.
Listen. Regarding draft, I have already made the changes with my legal team. I have sat with them and I had done the changes.
No, you are passing the buck to your legal team. See, you are saying legal team is responsible. In that case, we should discuss this with legal team who has drafted.
The first draft which I have sent him, okay, where he stated that we have the unit for the cancellation. So I asked the CC team if the request is been processed, kindly process the document for us. So they have shown this document. So after that, I have sit with my team and I have sent a draft according to legal team.
Utkarsha, the problem here in our communication is you are saying according to legal team, according to this, according to that, right? So you are saying it is coming from someone else who is not you. The difficulty here is whoever is doing it, we are not communicating with them, and therefore then you need to escalate the call to the person who has drafted this, and so that that person can explain what Mr. Karale and they have to do with this process. That is something you need that person to explain. You are apparently you are not explaining it. You are trying, but you are not explaining it. You are passing it on. You are saying they have sent, we have told them they have sent. Let me explain to you what is the problem here. Can I go step by step?
Yes.
In the legal indemnity, shall we start talking about the 3 drafts that you sent?
Yes.
Okay.
See, Yasha,
So,
letter of I want to know.
Yes.
Basically, I want to know is the sister of Eknath Karale.
She is the sister. She is not, unless his wife and his children are dead. She is not an heir. She is not under Hindu Succession
Not a
Act.
legal hire.
She is not going to be a legal heir until and unless Reema Karale and Prathamesh and his brother are dead. Until they live, she is not an heir. Nor is Mr.
Even he is a legal hire.
No, he is not an heir while his wife and his children live.
So we just required his consent. That's it. Apart from this,
No, wait.
Otherwise, see, that's the reason I have clearly mentioned Prathamesh.
Everything that we Utkarsha, everything that we do has to have the support of law. Okay. You can't say we just require. It cannot be Lodha's requirement.
That's the reason I am telling you. Because if at the point of sending the documents, he was telling me I won't send the documents. I had clearly told him, if you are not going to send me, please go to local lawyer, ask for the succession agreement, okay, or succession letter. After that, once you get it, so you can give it.
All this would be fine. Right? All this, Utkarsha, would be all right, but I don't hear a legal brain on the other end of the phone. Now, there is a problem, Utkarsha. Please recognize the problem. I understand that you are asked to speak to us. Okay, it is your job to speak to us. I get this. But the problem is you are not understanding the legal dimensions of this. His wife is there as your co-applicant. His wife as co-applicant can speak on behalf of Eknath Karale, who has died. Okay. Now, you are involving two other entities who are not related, who are not directly in the problem. Namely his uncle and his aunt. Now, I don't want anyone to die, but understand this. If your father expired, you are the heirs. His brothers have nothing to say in the matter. His sister has nothing to say in the matter, unless it was an ancestral property. Okay.
Yeah,
now by involving his uncle and aunt and everybody, you are complicating it.
I am a legal heir to him because I am in blood relation with him.
No, you are a legal heir not because you are a blood relation. You are in succession.
I will become a legal heir only.
Utkarsha, I don't know we are communicating.
My husband will not
I don't know if we are communicating. If you and your husband, okay, I enter into a property and God forbid something happens to your husband and your name is there, then your husband's brothers will not and should not be involved. You are there as his wife.
Get involved by legal itself.
No, you don't, my friend. That is exactly the point I am making. You don't. You want to hear the concern or you want to argue for this draft?
You are having a doubt for that.
Not, sir, it's not a doubt. It is a certainty. It's not a doubt, my friend. It is a certainty. We are not in doubt. Please understand this. Everybody who approaches you does not approach you with a doubt. Some people approach you with a legitimate grievance, and that needs correction. It doesn't need you to explain things away. And if you can explain it away, then the person who explains it should have a legal brain. At which point did Mr. Lee and Yache get involved in the property? How are they involved in this property at all?
Because by law, by legal...
If your husband, if God forbid something happens to your husband and you are a co-applicant, you are named in that in the agreement, they will start consulting, they will start looking for your husband's relatives or they will come directly to the wife. Please understand this. They will only come to wife, not first. Not first. They will only come to wife. If it's a love marriage or any reason why they will not go to the family, they will not go to the family.
If my husband has a brother or sister, they require a consent of them.
You are wrong. You are demonstrably wrong. You are totally wrong. This is not a requirement under the law.
We can do one thing.
Please put me to legal. Escalate.
On Monday and we will have a word on this with our legal team.
Please escalate to legal.
It will be very... Yes, sure. It will be well sorted for you and us also.
Please escalate it to legal. Let us have a communication with legal.
Yes, that's the reason I said we will sit on Monday and we will talk with you.
No, sitting means let's do it on phone. There is no need to meet. Please put your legal person and we will ask him the questions. Now, if you want to take down a list of our concerns, I will tell you the list of our concerns. We need not have this argument. We can just explain the concerns to you and you can take down if you wish, and that is it. You can convey it to your legal team. Can we do that?
Yeah, you can do that.
Sure. Shall we do it? Can we do it just now?
You can put a mail for the same.
Can we do you want a mail? You want us to start another train of mails telling you what is wrong in your process? You want us to do that?
See, otherwise I told you, right? We will sit on Monday and we will have a word on the phone.
Sit means on phone, right?
Yes, on phone.
Perfect. We will do that. Please escalate to legal. We will call. Please have your legal person on the call.
Yeah, we will have a word with them in the second half. I can call you.
Sure.
And we will have a conversation on it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
Chalo, thanks. Chalo, Prathamesh. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.